Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Hot Toys Captain America Civil War Captain America figure. You guys seem to like it when I review the Hot Toys. I'm still not sold on collecting them personally. My brother does, and so I get to review them, so everybody wins in this regard. Though I will be getting the Deadpool, but it was delayed again for that wrist issue, or delayed, I guess, for that wrist issue. So I'll be getting Deadpool. I did want to buy that one. I'm not sold on them in general, just for my personal taste, but objectively speaking, this is one of the better ones I've seen, and I've seen almost all of the Marvel figures. My brother has collected all of them, so I'm fairly well versed in them, and I'm pretty happy to show you this one because it's even more impressive than I expected it to be, so that's a good thing. So let's get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 12 and a half inches, right around there. Which, I mean, I guess that's pretty close. That puts him at about 6.5 feet, and canonically speaking, that's fairly accurate. So that's pretty good. He's in scale, that's a good thing. Does it look like Chris Evans? Well, I don't know. Technically speaking, it's a really nice sculpt. The actual sculpt work is very clean, very realistic looking. I like it a whole bunch. You guys know Hot Toys nails head sculpts in terms of quality. But do they look like the actual people? That's kind of a big deal. And I have to say, sometimes it's a little hit or miss. This one, at some angles, looks just like Chris Evans. No problem at all. Looks really good sometimes. But other times, not so much. So it's about a 50-50 in terms of the likeness. Quality-wise, of course, 100%. I mean, we have, mixed with the paint job, the sculpt is fantastic. It looks like a real little person. So that's nice. Just not the best likeness. And if you want to get into it, let's look at the alternate head. So we have the standard head, and then we have the helmeted head, which has actually two face plates, and they just swap out with magnets. I have to say I'm not sold on the likeness. It's good enough. It'll definitely pass. If it didn't have the Captain America outfit, would you instantly recognize it as Chris Evans? I don't think so. I think maybe some people would, but probably about half the people wouldn't. That's up to you. If you like the likeness, then it's fine. If you don't like it, then it's not a deal breaker, so I don't think it's that big of a problem. Other accessories include interchangeable hands. We have the two fist hands. We have two gripping hands for holding the shield straps. One kind of loose hand looks like for holding the shield, which you can't actually hold it though. It would need support of some kind. One loose hand, which is more of a style pose hand, and then one pointing finger hand. And then lastly, we have the shield and we have Crossbones helmet, which looks really nice. The helmet's really cool. Is it a necessary accessory? Probably not. Kind of a reminder of the poor implementation of Crossbones, but it is there. Now let's talk about the shield. This particular shield is really nice looking. It's very good. It's metallic. It's painted well. It's very clean, heavy. I think it's all, I don't know if it's die cast. It's some kind of metal. Doesn't really matter what. Here's the thing. The straps don't disconnect from the shield in a convenient way. The little clasps on there, the little buckles like you would see at a shopping cart from the 90s, maybe still today, I don't know. They're functional, but look how tiny they are. They're super tiny and super fragile, so I wouldn't recommend using them. You break it very easily. So what I would recommend is you take the hand that you need to grip it, and you just kind of stretch the fingers a little bit and put it in. Leave the hand there, and then what you'll want to do is take the hand off the figure, whatever hand you don't want on there, and just slide it in and connect it that way. Otherwise, you're gonna risk breaking it. So be very, very careful with the straps. They are functional, but very easily broken. So again, be extra, extra, extra careful. Now, if you do want to put the shield on his back, they have a new design, and it's a little iffy. I'm not 100% sold on it, and I'll explain why. This piece right here slides on over that. So it just hangs onto his back like that. And here's the thing, these pieces have to replace the little buckles. They snap in on one of them to replace the buckles. You were just asking to break this. It's such a poor design in that regard. It might technically be good from an engineering standpoint, but that is definitely going to break if you mess with it at all. So be super careful with the shield. It looks nice, but very problematic. The other problem I have with the shield is that the hands, and this is more of a problem with the hands, like to bite the pegs and pull the pegs out of the arms. As you can see, the peg in this hand is actually connected to the hand, So what I did was I took the spare. You always get a couple of spares, or at least usually. So I took one of the spares and put it in the arm. I think if this was my figure anyway, I would just leave it like this, not put it on his back, just have him holding it whenever I wanted him to use it. Just leave the peg in there and leave one peg here. So I don't know, that's kind of a pain in the ass for a figure like this, but it's not a deal breaker. So let's talk about the suit and the body and the articulation. Does it look good? Surprisingly, the suit looks better on the figure than it does in the movies. You'll probably notice in the movies, a lot of the times the shoulder pads are like dented in or something because they're so poofy, and that's not the case here. They look really nice, they look really good. My only gripe with the suit in terms of aesthetics is that they padded the torso just a little bit too much here. It looks very kind of bloated, but it's not a deal breaker. It's okay, it's not too bad. Now, in terms of articulation, he's one of the better ones I've seen, even given some of the Iron Man figures that work really well, or maybe Thanos, who works like a traditional action figure. This guy works really nicely. The head is on a ball peg, and it can move around no problem. It's just a simple swap if you want to use the other head. The only issue when you swap them out, like you pop that one off and pop this one in, is this black collar in here can sometimes get tucked in, so you'll just have to use some soft tweezers or something to move them around. But the head has obviously fully rotatable neck, which is good. And of course it can lean back pretty far, not 100% great, but it leans back pretty far, leans forward really far, and then of course you can lean it side to side some. It doesn't have the best range in the world, but definitely enough to bring him to life. You can put him in a nice pose, and it looks really, really good, so I'm very happy about that. It does have metallic hair, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that yet. Some people like it, some people don't. That's up to you. I don't mind it on this guy. It looks all right. All right, so the neck is good. Torso articulation. I believe there's a ball peg in the upper torso and then one where it connects to the lower torso. As I said, it's really padded around here, so it's very difficult for him to actually do much. You can crunch him a little bit, maybe a little bit more if you really, really want to force it, but not a whole lot. You're really going to mostly just get the twist, and even then, with the twist, you can see I'm forcing it right now, and it just doesn't really twist that much. So his torso is very limited. I would be aware of that if you're looking to put him in any dynamic poses. I know most Hot Toys don't afford that range of motion anyway, so you might be used to it. Unfortunately, that's really fortunately, that's the only part that's really limited. The rest of the figure has pretty darn good range for a Hot Toys figure, so I guess that's a good thing for most of you out there. When you try to move the torso, it's all connected like down here into a diaper type thing with some snaps and buttons. This back piece likes to pull out from the belt. So be aware of that. You might have to retuck it in if you try to move the torso too much and then try to bend it back. You can see it doesn't really want to tuck back in, so that can be a pain in the proverbial ass. Now, we do have a belt that can be removed. There are buttons that go around that hold it in place. I'm not going to do that because why would you want to remove the belt? What are you, some kind of pervert? You don't need to do that. Okay, so torso articulation, not great. Head is fine. Shoulders, we do have a butterfly that brings the arm forward and back. It doesn't have the best range, but it is in there, so that's okay. We do get really nice range, almost completely horizontal without much effort at all. It tucks in nicely. You can see this top sleeve right here is separate from the shoulder, so it tucks in no problem at all. A little bit of bunching, but not too bad. You can rotate the arm around pretty well. Here's the thing. When you want to rotate the arm around, you're going to have to twist the clothing around so that you can actually move the articulation underneath. If you're familiar with Hot Toys, you're used to that. If you're not familiar, you'll get used to it, no problem. You can bring the arm all the way around. You can bring it even close to straight up. It just takes a lot of finagling, so I'm not going to do it all on camera. But you can see, without much effort, I already got the arm up pretty far, so no big deal. You have the full ball hinge plus the bicep swivel in there. You just have to twist the clothing around independent of the arm. No big deal. Double jointed elbow gives you pretty good range. Not much better than 90, but it's enough, and it doesn't bunch too bad, so that's okay. And you can rotate it around at the forearm also, so that's nice. And then the wrists have the ball hinge, so they can move around pretty well. You don't have the greatest range because he's got the longer gloves, but more than enough. So that's fine. Now the hips, standard ball hinge hips, you can bring them pretty far forward. They do bunch some, obviously, because it's real clothes, but it works really nice. I am very pleased with those hips. I thought he was going to be a lot more limited, and he's not. I mean, they come out all the way, just as far as most Marvel Legends or most imports or something like that. Now, he's not going to do any high kicks, but I think that's more than acceptable, and they can go pretty far out to the side if you want him to do a kick. He does have a stretchy crotch piece. I wouldn't probably put too much stress on it, but you can definitely pose him doing a kick or something like that if you wanted to. No big deal. He does have thigh swivels also. So again, no problem. He's very well articulated, especially for a Hot Toys figure. You can bend the knees, double jointed knees, way better than 90 degrees, so that's good. Just adjust the pants and you can make it look pretty nice. The ankles, I think it's a double ball peg. It could be a single, I'm not positive, but they have really nice range, better range than I was expecting. So you get your ankle rocker, really nice. Goes forward and back, no problem. And you're probably saying, well, that looks stupid. His boots don't connect. Well, you can just slide this back down. And then you have the range and the aesthetics. Sometimes you're going to get some gapping, but it works really well. I'm very, very pleased with this guy. If I was a collector of Hot Toys, I would be very happy to own this one. You guys know I'm not the biggest Captain America fan in the world, and since I don't really collect Hot Toys, I'm not going to buy it. But I would recommend that you do buy it if you do collect Hot Toys or do like Captain America. Is it a perfect figure? No. But is it really good? I think so. And if Deadpool is executed as well as this guy, other than the torso, I'm going to be very happy to own him. So I have to recommend it. I like it a whole bunch, and I think you guys will too. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. I will be reviewing more Hot Toys coming up, and I review all kinds of other things. We do other things on top of that, like talk about movies and video games and TV shows and unboxings and just all kinds of stuff. So make sure you come back, and in the meantime, keep collecting.